10:05, so we'll go ahead and get going. My name is Delia Albrecht, and I am a regional coordinator and evaluation coordinator for Feeding Florida's Fresh Access Bucks program, which you'll be hearing a little bit more about in just a little bit later this morning. So today we have a really packed agenda for you, and I'm so excited to welcome you to Seeds to Success, growing your farm or farmers market while helping Florida's communities thrive. For this event, as I mentioned, we have just a very full agenda, hopefully with lots of resources and tools for you all to expand your business and again, be able to help folks in your community with food and resources. So this morning before the break, we'll have a little bit about Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, as well as Fresh Access Bucks and how to promote these at your outlet. And then you'll hear from some of our Fresh Access Bucks partner in a panel to talk about some of the successes, challenges, and lessons learned that they have had. Then we'll take a short 5-minute break. And after the break, we'll bring in the women, infant and children's and senior farmers nutrition, farmers market nutrition program. And then we'll have the Florida Local Food Project and Florida Farmers Market Association. After that, we'll have a little bit more about making connections, and then we'll have Florida Nutrition Education. So hopefully you'll all will leave here with lots of great resources at the end of today. And in the meantime, just a little bit of housekeeping. Just be sure to keep yourselves on mute while presenters are presenting. And then of course, we'll have time at the end of each presentation. We'll have a few minutes for questions. So at that time, you'll be welcome to take yourself off of mute to ask questions live, or feel free to just pop your questions in the chat as we're moving along, and we'll catch those at the end of the presentation. So at this time, I think that is all of the housekeeping items, and we are ready to move into our first presentation of the morning. I'm really excited to introduce Lisa Roach, who is here from Market Link. Lisa is the granddaughter of farmers, which is what inspired her interest in agriculture and passion for supporting farmers. She has over 10 years of experience working in the food and agriculture industries through farmers markets, retail, and nonprofits. She has been a regional representative with MarketLink for 3 years, and her favorite part of the job is her phone calls with farmers throughout the country. So I'd like to turn it over to Lisa, who will talk about accepting SNAP at your farm or farmer's market.
Awesome, thank you. So here is a quick agenda of what we'll cover today. The first is I'll give an intro of the MarketLink program and a little bit of history. I'll then give a brief overview of what the SNAP program is, just to start us off with anyone who may not be super familiar, and some of the benefits of accepting the program. I'll then spend the majority of the time talking about our biggest program, which is the SNAP Equipment Grant, and how you can accept SNAP at your farm or farmer's market. Lastly, I'll cover how to contact us with additional questions. All right. So MarketLink is not an organization itself, but we are a program of our parent organization, which is called the National Association of Farmers Market Nutrition Programs, or NAFMNP for short. Our parent organization mostly works with WIC and senior FMP, which it sounds like you'll get a full intro to later. But MarketLink mostly works with SNAP. We are also slowly expanding to EWIC and EFMP, but I don't have time to get into that today, so I'll just focus on our SNAP Equipment Grant, but you can always ask me about that later. The MarketLink program was founded in 2013 with the purpose of expanding SNAP access at farms and farmers markets. We are funded through 2 USDA grants, one for in-person SNAP transactions and one for SNAP online transactions. The in-person equipment grant was first awarded to us in 2013, again in 2019, and again most recently in September of last year, which is the one we're currently in. Through our in-person equipment grant, we are partnered with a company called Novadia Group that developed the app called Total Pay Go. This app is used with a Bluetooth card reader to process SNAP EBT transactions. Our grant covers 1 year of the Total Pay Go app. And in addition to providing equipment, we walk farms and farmers markets through the SNAP application process. The newest grant for SNAP Online was awarded in 2022, and we are partnered with the e-commerce provider Grown By and the card processor WorldPay FIS. Similar to the in-person grant, we provide SNAP Online processing costs covered for 1 year and assist through the SNAP Online authorization process. I just wanted to give a quick intro about that to cover all of our funding, but I won't go into detail about SNAP Online today. But again, if you're interested in learning more, I'll share my contact information at the end of the presentation. You can reach out with any questions. And next, I'll give a brief overview of the SNAP program. So what is SNAP? SNAP stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. This means supplemental funding to help someone pay for food to feed themselves or their family. This was formerly known as food stamps, and you'll sometimes now see it referred to as EBT. About $100 billion are spent each year on SNAP, making it the largest food assistance program nationwide. It supports about 12% of the total populations and helps expand the economy by $1.54 per SNAP dollar spent, according to the USDA recent study. This is actually higher if it's spent on local food, but I don't have that exact number, but I did confirm that recently. People qualify based on income and household factors, meaning how much money they make and how many people are in their household. The actual amount an individual can receive varies state by state. So usually people would need to reach out to their local health and human services to see if they qualify. What foods can someone buy with SNAP? SNAP is open to a very wide variety, where WIC and FMMP and incentive programs are sometimes limited to certain items. An easy way to think of what SNAP can buy is pretty much any food that can be taken home to feed yourself or your family. So this, of course, includes breads, produce, grains, pasta, meat, fish, dairy, eggs, and baked goods. But this also includes processed foods such as accessory foods such as jams, pickles, juice, frozen foods, honey, and even plants and seeds that will produce food. So what's not eligible is anything that is not a food item, or anything that is hot or cold food that is prepared on site with the intention of being eaten immediately. As this program is not intended for restaurant foods, but there are occasional exceptions to that for some restaurants. So there's a few reasons why a business would want to accept SNAP, but a main reason, of course, is that it opens up a new customer base with the potential of bringing increased sales to someone's business. Through our grant data, we were able to track the expansion of SNAP through sales redeemed through MarketLink equipment, which is growing every year. So since 2013, when MarketLink started, there have been $104 million in SNAP sales. In 2022, 5.5 million SNAP sales were made through MarketLink at farms and farmers markets, which is a 36% increase from 2021. And lastly, our program is being used at about half of all the farms and farmers markets accepting SNAP nationwide. I gotta go along here too. And to end this section, here's a lovely infographic that shows some of the additional reasons to accept SNAP, which include improving food access, building a sense of community, improving the health and well-being of your customers, and creating unique marketing opportunities for your business. All right, next I will talk about our SNAP in-person equipment grant and how we help farms and farmers markets accept SNAP EBT. As I mentioned, this program is available for both farms and farmers markets. So I've intentionally kept this section pretty broad to give general information to both. So that way market managers can get the information they need to accept SNAP, or any individual vendors or farmers who want to accept SNAP at their vendor booth and at their farm stand. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But so on the slide here are the basic steps of the program. I'll cover these more in detail, but this is just to start with an overview. So step 1 is to complete the eligibility assessment on our website. This step is mainly to determine if you're eligible for the free equipment, but it also gets you connected to a regional representative who will be your point of contact and walk you through the entire process. Step 2 is, if you have not done so already, then is to become a SNAP authorized retailer with the USDA. You can do this on your own or with MarketLink's help. Step 3 is to get a Total Pay Go account using the special application we provide. And step 4 is you should receive your equipment, and then you can activate your app and you should be ready to start accepting SNAP. So as I mentioned, the first step is to fill out the eligibility assessment to see if you're eligible for the funded equipment. So what does it mean to be eligible? The main requirements of eligibility are your business type and whether or not you've utilized a SNAP program, equipment grant program already. So the 2 types of businesses that are eligible are direct marketing farmer and farmers market based on USDA definitions. The USDA defines a direct marketing farmer as an individual producer of agricultural products who sells directly to the public. Additionally, at least 50% of all the products you sell must be from what you grew or produced yourself. So it's okay if you supplement items from other farmers as long as mostly what you sell is stuff you produced yourself. And when we say produce, we mean if you grew it directly or if you're raising animals for animal products. The USDA defines a farmer's market as 2 or more agricultural producers, meaning farmers, selling their own agricultural products in person directly to the public at a fixed location. So farm stands do not qualify, grocery stores don't qualify, even if they call themselves a farmer's market. It needs to be the money going directly to the farmer. So I like to describe it just as a traditional farmer's market with multiple booths selling outside. So who would not be eligible is anyone who does not fall into those 2 categories, or anyone who has received equipment from us. But the good news is it's during this grant period. So unless you got it since October of 2023, you should be good to apply. But if you're unsure, you can always contact us to see if you qualify before officially applying. And then this slide here is to show that even if you are not eligible, we can still help in a lot of ways. Regardless of if you are eligible, we can still support you through the USDA SNAP application. Yeah, so for those who aren't eligible for the grant, we can still provide guidance on how to apply. If you are grant eligible, you will receive the free SNAP card reader and a 1-year subscription to the Total Pay Go app. If you're not eligible, that card reader and app subscription are available for purchase. And we can also provide advice on where to look into other options for equipment. The printer waiver here refers to a waiver specific to our grant, which means if you're using the equipment we provide, you are not required to provide a printed receipt, which SNAP retailers normally are. The Total Pay Go app has the option to provide a text or emailed receipt instead. So this saves you money on needing to buy a printer and printer paper. If you get equipment through our grant, we can help train you on setting it up and how to use it. But again, if you're not grant eligible, we can still advise other equipment options that are out there. And finally, we're here to answer any questions you have about the SNAP program or equipment program, regardless of your eligibility, as all of our time and technical assistance is covered through our USDA funding. All right, so next I'm going to talk about the second step, which is to become a SNAP authorized retailer with the USDA. Over the next few slides, I'll give an overview of what to expect, and then I'll cover the ways in which we can help you apply. So the first step is to fill out the application. It's about 5 pages online and can take anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour to fill out. The first thing it asks is basic information about your farm or market, including where it's located, the name, legal business name, where you sell at, and hours that you are open to the public. It will also ask you what type your business is, meaning if you're a sole proprietor, LLC, nonprofit, or other things like that. It also asks for banking information, but this means just the name and address of the bank you're planning on depositing the SNAP payments into. It doesn't ask for a checking or routing number. It will also ask for a website, which is optional, but we highly recommend it, as most of the follow-up questions that the USDA will sometimes ask is to verify that you're a legitimate business. So sometimes even having a simple online presence, such as a Facebook page that has pictures of a farm or market, it can reduce the chance that the USDA will do this. Next slide. So next, it will ask for the responsible official information, which refers to the person who is taking responsibility for the SNAP program, and it will ensure that the program is used correctly. This person needs to be someone with the legal authority to sign legal documents on behalf of the business. This can depend on how your business is structured, but generally, this should be the owner, manager, or executive director of a farm or market. The information they need to provide can also depend on your business type, but in general, these are the things they will ask for. So that is their name, home address, social security number, and date of birth. They will also need to answer a few criminal history questions, but I don't want that to scare you away, as they are mostly looking for financial crimes such as fraud. Next, it asks for sales and inventory information, meaning what your business actually sells to the public. And this is to determine if you meet the stocking requirements to participate in the SNAP program. Basically, they want to know how many staple foods you sell. Staple foods are foods that make up the majority of a person's diet, and the USDA divides them into 4 different categories. And those are fruits and vegetables, meat, poultry, fish, and eggs, dairy products, and breads, cereals, and grains. A business can meet these requirements by falling into either criteria A or criteria B, and I'll cover those in the next 2 slides. So the first is criteria A, and to meet this, you need to sell at least 3 stocking units of 3 different categories of each of the staple foods. So a variety means how that food is sold, or sorry, means the food sold in each category. So apples, for example, would be a variety, but Fuji, Granny Smith, Pink Lady would not. Those all just count as one variety, which is apples. A stocking unit means how that item is sold. So that's up to you. It could mean individually, by the box, by the pound, in a bag. Just however you sell it, that counts as the stocking unit. So these photos give an example of a store who would qualify. So for example, they sell apples, strawberries, and lettuce. So that's your 3 in the fruits and vegetables category. They sell beef, pork, and eggs. That's your 3 in the meat, poultry, and fish category. They sell milk, cheese, and butter. So there's your 3 varieties in the dairy category. And lastly, they sell bread, rice, and tortillas. So that's the 3 in the breads and grains category. Most often, this is how grocery stores would qualify, but a lot of farmers markets sometimes fall into this category as well. So the second and arguably easier way a business can qualify is through criteria B. Criteria B is mostly about sales, and to qualify, you would simply need to have 50% of your total retail sales come from any of the staple food categories. Again, that's produce, meat, dairy, grains, and cereals. So direct marketing farmers usually meet this category no problem, as usually 100% of their sales comes from produce. But farmers markets often meet this as well. So after you've submitted your application, for your application to officially be complete, the next step is to upload what's called the supporting documents. These are documents to verify the responsive official's identity and certify your application. Again, this depends on how your business is structured, but most often these are the documents they will ask for. So this includes a photo ID, a social security card, a signature page, and a business license if your city or state requires you to operate with one. If you're a nonprofit, you'll need to provide a determination letter or articles of incorporation. And if your farm or market is managed by a government agency, you'll need to submit your W-9 for the governing body. After your application and supporting documents are uploaded, you then just wait to hear back from the USDA. And it checks to help check on your application at least once a week to make sure it's moving along and to check for what's called additional information requests. These are letters or emails the USDA will sometimes send, as I mentioned earlier, to verify your business. It's good to look out for these because if you miss one, the USDA can actually pull your application as being incomplete and you need to start all over. But hopefully they don't ask for additional information and you just get approved. And once you're approved, you'll be notified by email and you'll get a package in the mail. Altogether, the process can take as little as 2 weeks or 2 months at the most. The more you follow up with your application and keep up with it, the quicker you will get approved. So now that you have an idea of what to expect on the application, I'll briefly cover the ways in which we help you through the process. So the first is to fill it out on your own. This means you will create a USDA login, submit the application and your supporting documents on your own. We have instructional guides to walk you through each step of the process that you can follow along with. These guides also have our contact information, so if you ever get stuck, you can reach out to us with questions and we can help you continue along. The second option is to actually have a MarketLink representative submit the application on your behalf. This means we would book a phone call appointment to gather all the information. MarketLink would submit and upload your supporting documents for you. The main benefit is this allows us to double check on it for you and make sure everything's filled out correctly and assist you in on our website. So once you're SNAP approved, you'll then be ready to get equipment. And through our grant, the first thing we cover is a 1-year subscription to the app called TotalPay Go that you would download on your phone or tablet and pair it with the second piece we provide, which is the Bluetooth card reader. And you would use the reader and app together to process transactions. So you can see what this looks like on the left side of the screen. If you're familiar with Square, that also gives you an idea because they are very similar. But what this means is you'll need to provide your own smartphone or tablet to run the TotalPay Go app on. It doesn't matter if it's a personal device or a device you already use for your business, either works. It doesn't matter if it's an Android or Apple device or what carrier you use, as long as it has Bluetooth capabilities, most recent software update, and access to Wi-Fi or data, you should be good to go. TotalPay Go also has the option to integrate Square into their app, which you can find out more about on totalpay.com.
Lisa, you've got about 1 minute left.
Okay, this is almost my last slide. Thank you. So yeah, I'll end here, which brings us to what are the costs, what is covered by the grant, and what happens after the grant year is over. So during that first year, the TotalPay Go app is covered. You get the Bluetooth card reader, which is free and yours to keep. While using TotalPay Go, there's no transaction fees for SNAP EBT. And you have the printer waiver that I covered earlier that continues even after the grant year is up. Through our newest grant, we also now have the capability to continue that free year if you meet $500 in SNAP sales during your first year. Your next year will automatically be covered. We can offer this during the duration of our grant, which is until October of 2026. But after the first year, if you don't meet that $500 threshold and you want to keep using the app, it's $191.40 a year or $19.95 a month. You'll still have the no transaction fees for SNAP sales and continued use of their card reader. The idea of this grant is to give you a free year to try out the program to see if it's going to be a good fit for your business, but you're welcome to cancel anytime. And to get started, you can go to marketlink.org or reach out to me with questions. We'll end one more slide. There we go. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. That was such a great presentation. We are right at 10:30, but it looks like we have one hand up. I'm hoping it's a quick question. Valerie, do you want to ask your question real quick?
No, I don't have a question. It said that you wanted me to speak. I don't know. I had to take a call, so I didn't realize that I had been called on.
Oh, I don't think you'd been called on. It might have been a mistake, but thank you for letting
Oh,
us know.
okay.
If you do have any questions for Lisa, you go ahead and leave them in the chat and we'll go ahead and pass those questions along and be sure to get answers on them and send them out to everyone who is registered for the event. You are also welcome to reach out to Lisa with her contact information, which is now in the chat as well.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you again, Lisa. And moving right along, our next presenter is Heather Henderson from Feeding Florida's Fresh Access Bucks program. Heather has been working to increase food access and food literacy in low-income communities for over 9 years. Currently, she is the Fresh Access Bucks program manager with Feeding Florida. Fresh Access Bucks is a statewide nutrition incentive program active in over 65 farm direct and retail outlets across Florida. Heather is passionate about the intersection of technology, food access, and local food systems. And welcome, Heather.
Thank you, Delia, and hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Lisa, for doing such a great introduction on SNAP authorization and how to get set up with that. So that is the first step if you are interested in continuing on to be a Fresh Access Bucks partner. And that's what I'll be sharing about today. So Fresh Access Bucks is a program of Feeding Florida. Feeding Florida is the network of food banks for the state. And we are a nutrition incentive program. We double SNAP in farm direct and retail outlets throughout the state. And we have been operating for about a decade now, which is wild to think. So how does Fresh Access Bucks work? What's a nutrition incentive program? So when I say nutrition incentive program, I mean a program that doubles SNAP benefits for fresh fruits and vegetables. And that's what we do with Fresh Access Bucks. So a shopper who shops with SNAP at any of our outlets will get their SNAP doubled to be spent on fresh fruits and vegetables. It works a little bit differently depending on the type of outlet. So I'm going to go through the different outlet types and describe how it works at each outlet. So we operate in a bunch of different outlets. I think we're at 65 plus right now. Many of them we call farm direct outlets, which are our farmers markets, our farm stands, mobile markets, and CSAs throughout the state. But we also operate in some community grocery stores, and we call that our retail program. Our program is funded a few different ways, but the big source of funding is a USDA grant called the Gus Schumacher COVID Relief and Response Grant that is specifically for doubling SNAP benefits for fresh produce. So it works a little different depending on the outlet, and I'll go into that now. So at our farmers markets, we call it a centralized system. So the way it works is a SNAP shopper will find a centralized booth, hopefully well marked and beautiful, like this, this tent here. And at that booth, they will swipe their SNAP card for however much they feel like spending that day. For example, if they'd like to spend $20, they'll let the market attendant know, I'd like $20. They'll then be matched an additional $20 to be spent on fresh fruits and vegetables. They'll receive SNAP tokens of one color for their SNAP swipe. Those are unique to the market and can only be spent at the market. And then they'll receive a match of green Fresh Access Bucks tokens that can be spent at any of our Farm Direct outlets throughout the state. The SNAP tokens can be used on anything that's SNAP eligible. Lisa did such a good job explaining SNAP eligibility for items, and that is pretty much anything that you consider food, other than food that is meant to be eaten on site, food labeled for pet consumption like raw dairy, and non-food items. So those SNAP tokens can be spent throughout the market at different vendors' booths on any SNAP eligible items. The green Fresh Access Bucks tokens can be spent on any fresh, minimally processed Florida grown fruits and vegetables, and plants and seeds that produce food to eat. And like I said, those can be taken to additional FAB markets throughout the state. So shoppers will shop with their tokens, exchange them like cash with vendors. And at the end of the market day, the vendors will turn the tokens in to the market manager and be reimbursed for those purchases. At farm stands, CSAs, and mobile markets, because there's only one vendor, it feels a little silly to give people tokens and take them back immediately. So we operate it as a discount. So it's a 50% discount so long as more than half of the total is Florida grown produce. Otherwise, the Florida grown produce is free. It's still a one-to-one match, a SNAP non-Florida grown fresh produce purchase for Florida grown produce. And for both of these, it's up to $40 per market day. And lastly, we have our community grocery stores, our retail program, which works a little different than both of those. So at our retail outlets, there are no tokens, and it is a $10 match for any fresh produce. Regardless of the source, any fresh produce can be purchased with Fresh Access Bucks. We integrate with the point of sale system at our retail outlets. So some might use a card, some might use an internal loyalty system, but SNAP shoppers shop and they'll get their match to spend on any fresh produce per transaction. So at all of the outlets, SNAP dollars can be spent on any SNAP eligible items. And this is a beautiful image showing some examples of those SNAP eligible items. And Fresh Access Bucks can be spent on fresh produce at our Farm Direct outlets, on Florida grown fresh produce, vegetable starts and seeds that produce food to eat. And at our retail outlets, any fresh produce, vegetable starts and seeds that produce food to eat. So this is a demonstration of our statewide impact over the last 10 years. So we have been growing and growing since 2013. As you can see, we had a huge spike in 2020 and 2021. I think you can all imagine why. COVID really increased the amount of folks on SNAP and also increased the amount of SNAP dollars in circulation. And then there is also PEBT, the pandemic EBT, that went out to families of students on free and reduced lunch. So we're still chugging along and getting our Fresh Access Bucks incentive out to families throughout the state. So this is for our Farm Direct program. And in 2021 alone, we got over $750,000 of Fresh Access Bucks out into the state to be spent on Florida grown produce with Florida farmers. And that equates to a little under 300,000 daily servings of fruit and vegetables purchased with FAB. We love to take the big numbers and make them tangible to really see that impact. So similarly, SNAP and Fresh Access Bucks combined that year was about 1.5 million. And that was a little under 500,000 meals purchased with SNAP and FAB in 2021 alone. And this is our statewide impact for community grocery stores, another huge spike in 2021. We were able to bring on a small grocery chain, and they amazingly were able to get our incentives out at a rate that we were not able to keep up with based on the money that we had in our budget. So we maybe things in the future with them, but we're still getting our incentives out to grocery stores throughout the state. At those stores, it can be spent on any fresh produce, but we do have contracts with those stores for them to increase their Florida grown sourcing overall. And our impact in 2021 with our retail, over 600,000 spent on fresh fruits and vegetables, about 200,000 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables purchased with FAB that year. And then over $8 million in SNAP and Fresh Access bucks spent at our community grocery outlets, which equates to about 2.2 million meals with FAB and SNAP. So we are required to do evaluation like other programs like ours throughout the US. And we've been able to show that nutrition incentive programs like ours do increase the fruit and vegetable intake greater than the average American adult. So folks who are using nutrition incentive programs are increasing their fresh fruit and vegetable intake. And we know that increased fresh fruit and vegetable intake leads to lower obesity rates, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. And because of this, estimates show that FAB programs like FAB have the potential to save about $1.2 billion in healthcare costs by increasing that access to fresh fruits and vegetables. So this is to show that we know that these programs work, and we're really happy to be able to offer it to SNAP customers and farmers markets in the state. We call it a win-win-win. So a win for food insecure families, for farmers, farmers markets, and other small businesses, and for the Florida economy. Like Lisa said, every SNAP dollar equates to about $1.54 stimulating in the local economy, and Fresh Access bucks even increases that. So we are always looking for new farm direct and retail outlets. So the outlets that we're looking for are located in Florida and sell Florida grown fresh produce. They have the ability to reach low-income communities either by being directly in a low-income community or being able to reach them via delivery or mobile market or other ways. You are currently SNAP authorized, and if you're not, you're working with Lisa to get that SNAP authorization. And you provide a welcoming and inclusive environment for all shoppers, and have the ability to track data for us and promote the FAB program in your community. If you do become a FAB partner, there are a lot of benefits. One, increased sales, supporting Florida farmers or supporting yourself as a Florida farmer. A new avenue for promotion, opening up a customer base that you may not have tapped into. We've seen a lot of positive media exposure. We have a FAB in the news kind of spreadsheet of all of the great word being spread about outlets that are accepting SNAP and FAB. Attract new customers, both low income and otherwise. Have the ability to expand fundraising opportunities. We're able to give you data based on how much SNAP and Fresh Access bucks you're giving out that you can communicate to potential funders. And support with SNAP technology. That's part of my role. I am always here to help with SNAP EBT equipment support, finding out more about online SNAP, and anything of the like.
1 minute, Heather.
Really? Goodness, time flies. Luckily, I only have a couple slides. Becoming a FAB partner does have its requirements. Accepting SNAP, not too many requirements. Once you've applied, you're SNAP authorized, you do SNAP transactions, you got to get reauthorized every once in a while. As a FAB partner, we do require that you identify as a member of our network. track some data. We have an in-person or virtual training every year that you're required to attend. We do pay for transportation and lodging. We have a virtual monthly network call. Each FAB outlet is required to have 6 nutrition education activities per year, which we're pretty loose in the definition of. We just want you to make sure you're getting out good nutrition education to your customers. Participate in program evaluation and outreach campaigns. And we do have a membership fee, and I'll make sure to include information about that in our follow-up along with these slides. So if you're interested in applying to become a Fresh Access Bucks partner, I think Delia is going to pop the link in the chat. Please apply. If you're SNAP authorized or not, we'd love to follow up with you. Or if you know a farmer's market or retail store that you think would be a good fit based on what we talked about, we have a refer an outlet form as well. And this is the contact info for everybody. Feel free to reach out to any of us, including myself, if you have any questions, and we're happy to help.
Thank you so much, Heather. We are actually a little over time, but Megan and Katie have been doing a super awesome job covering those questions in the chat. So, and Heather will be here throughout the entire event. So if you have any more questions, feel free to put those in the chat so we can get those answered for you all. But up next, we have Megan Fivash, also with Feeding Florida's Fresh Access Bucks program, here to talk about SNAP and FAB promotion. Megan is the communications coordinator for Fresh Access Bucks. She has been involved in food systems work for 17 years and is based in Jacksonville, Florida, where she oversees support for the statewide network of 60 plus farm direct partners and 8 retail partners who offer Fresh Access Bucks as they communicate the program at their outlets and in their communities. Welcome, Megan.
Thank you, Delia. Can you go over to the first slide there? Oh, okay. I was going to give just a brief, Heather and Lisa did a great job of covering what SNAP and FAB looks like in the state of Florida. Just as a overview, though, there's over 2.8 million Floridians who are on SNAP. Oh, thank you. Sorry about that. This is my fault. I stuck slides in last minute. So there you go. Thank you. There's over 2.8 million Floridians who rely on SNAP and EBT, and kind of what that looks like is 60% of those folks are families with children. Almost half of those have an older adult or disabled person living in the household, and more than 37% of those are working families. And there is a work requirement with SNAP and EBT. There's a lot of myths and misunderstandings about who can access SNAP, and we have some information to provide on that if you would like as well. So next slide. Also, Heather and Lisa talked a lot about the local impact for SNAP and FAB together. Last year, our program gave back a $934,000 into the local economy with just our program. So it's a significant, almost $1 million going back into our local economies. And there's over 400 Florida farmers who are participating in the program. So when you are a FAB partner, in order to provide you all the materials and resources you need to be able to communicate the benefits of this program, we have a suite of materials, including flyers and signage for your market. Some of the things that Heather showed earlier, the infographics on what you can use at the SNAP and FAB for at your market, and then personalized materials that show exactly how the FAB program works at your outlet. And those are all available on our website. We also provide some social media information and like plug and play kind of thing. So you can just take copy and graphics and put them on to your social media. A lot of our partners are really great about using those to explain the program and to market the program. So there's some examples here of folks sharing the information. And you can find all of that, again, it will be on our website. There was a question in the chat about where the Fresh Access Books outlets are located. If you go to our website, we have an interactive map and you can just plug in your zip code or city and find the closest FAB outlets to you. That's also listed by county there. And then when you click into each of those outlets, there's information linking back to the specific outlet, their hours of operation, how to use the program at their outlet. So we try to make it as easy as possible for folks to find where they can use the Fresh Access Bucks program. We also have put together some customer resources for SNAP shoppers, and those are located on our website. There's seasonal calendars, tips for shopping, some of the nutrition education things that Heather was mentioning, gardening and produce storage, all kinds of information like that. We are also hoping to be launching a new website this year. And so hopefully all of those resources will be a little more accessible and easy for folks to use. Someone also asked in the chat about how they can share information about our program. We have a community partner page that includes resources like a general flyer that you see here that you can download and print that has exactly how the program works in general across the state, along with a QR code that links back to that location page. We have additional resources and materials on that page for folks to use and share out. And I am always available to help, work with folks to share our information and develop materials if needed to help them get that out in their region. And I think that's it for me. Thank you. And if there's any questions about FAB promotion or SNAP promotion, I'm happy to help answer those.
Thank you so much, Megan. We have a couple minutes. We're now caught back up again. So if anyone has any questions for Heather or Megan about Fresh Access Bucks or promotion, feel free to take yourself off chat and go ahead and ask or pop those into the chat.
This is Debbie from HEP. Hello.
Hi,
and
Debbie.
we're a newcomer. So when you were mentioning about the total pay, or someone was mentioning, I think Heather was, about the total pay reader can be integrated with Square. That was something I'll touch base with you later. But she did say something that the two could be integrated together.
I'm happy to answer that a little bit too. I don't know if Lisa popped off, Delia?
Yeah, Lisa had to go, so.
Okay. She probably has a more eloquent way of saying this, but it doesn't integrate in a very smooth way. So Square does integrate into Total Pay. So the Total Pay app, you can like select Square and it will kind of like open the Square app from the Total Pay app. But Total Pay doesn't integrate into Square. I don't totally recommend it. But there is a way to get your Square fees reduced as somebody who uses Total Pay, and I'll make sure that
Yeah, that's great.
Information gets out there and the information on integrating it, because it's worth checking it out. I just haven't heard anything great about the integration.
Yeah, because I was looking at it when we first had everything, and again, we're new, so everything is a learning point. But I looked at it and I tried to do it, and then it said the fees that came and trying to put it together. So that's going to be when I talk about things about our challenges. It's just the Total Pay and Square. That's been our biggest. So I'll wait for my turn.
And one more question, well, there's a couple more, but we'll get one of these two in the chat. We are hoping to set up a fresh market at our community garden. Would we be eligible for Fresh Access Box?
That's a great question, Kitty. So long as you are selling the produce that you're growing, you would be eligible from my understanding as a farmer, and I would follow up with Lisa. Like she said, so long as 50% or more of your total sales, one, are a staple food item, so fresh fruits and vegetables, and you are growing yourself, you're eligible as a farmer. So I would follow up with Lisa on that. And if you have a different idea for a different model, I'm happy to chat offline on what that looks like.
Thank you, Heather. We have a few more questions coming through, but we'll be sure to answer those in the chat so that we have time to move on. I'm actually really excited. We have a few of our Fresh Access Bucks partners here with us today to serve on a panel to chat a little bit about some of the successes, challenges, and lessons learned, as Debbie alluded to for us already. So that was perfect timing. So the partners that we have on our panel this morning are Debbie Elvins and Maisie Hughes from Homeless Empowerment Program, Lacey Ott from St. Petersburg Saturday Morning Market, and Christine Tibbs representing Delray Beach Green Market. Welcome to all of you. We're so excited to have you all here to answer some questions that we have already arranged for you all. And then, of course, if folks have questions, you can pop those in the chat as well. So the first question that I'm going to ask of our panel is if you can talk about some of the successes or benefits that you've had in promoting SNAP and Fresh Access Bucks at your outlet.
All right.
I can answer, yeah.
Great.
So as far as some of the successes, so one of our biggest successes is we've been able to meet the needs of our community members who would otherwise not have access to the fresh produce. We're starting to see like the same people come back every week and become more familiar with our program. We're a homeless shelter, so it's good to get our name out there as like an organization that helps people, and people are, you know, starting to see that. Also, part of the reason that we wanted to become a SNAP and FAB partner is sorry, the computer's going crazy. Part of the reason we wanted to do that is we wanted to make a wider impact, like outside of our direct community, like outside of our homeless clients. We also wanted to like impact the neighborhoods outside of our organization. So I can say that we've done that, and you know, we're feeding a lot of people, and yeah, so that's our biggest success.
And I'm going to just chime in with a success that we've done, and Heather has come to visit us when we did do our little site visit. So we have one area we go to in Clearwater. It's called Clear Bay Terrace, and it is a seniors housing authority, so subsidized housing, and they're all seniors. I wonder why that's doing all that noise. And basically we go there every Tuesday, and we've only been doing it since probably November now, so it's very new. But with the SNAP, they just get so excited. They come down. We feel like we're a whole little family there. Debbie and I, the other lady that I work with at the mobile market, we just laugh and joke with them. We're learning their names, and it really is like a community. As they're purchasing, they love to chat about recipes, and then they give us some ideas. Then they start buying the produce because of the recipes. So that's amazing. That's we're excited about. And just when they have their SNAP cards, it's just so cute, because sometimes they're like, I don't know if I have any money. And once we put it through, it's like they've won the lottery and they're so excited. Another thing they do also is they share their SNAP cards, just in case. I'll pay for you this week. It's okay. You know what? You can get me next time. So I think it's really a great thing that it's become, and it's just we're on Tuesday, we were there yesterday, and we had 2 or 3 more customers because of word of mouth. So that is like our best success at this point.
Amazing. Thank you both for sharing. Christine or Lacey, did either of you want to jump in on this question?
Sure. I'll jump in. So the Delray Beach Community Redevelopment Agency is responsible for the Delray Beach Green Market. And we started the Green Market over 25 years ago because the area that we serve as the CRA is considered a food desert. So the Green Market is there every Saturday to help alleviate the need in the community to drive further away from where they live in search of fresh food. So bringing, I guess, this additional program in and becoming a licensed SNAP vendors and having the additional dollars come in from FAB is just very complementary to the reason why we started the Green Market and continue operating the Green Market in the area. So it's that in itself is a success to grow the Green Market even more and try to reach additional people who may not feel that the Green Market is there for them as well. It is there for everybody in the community. And we've reached people outside of our community who drive pretty far away to come spend their benefits at the Green Market. And we do have regulars that come from quite a distance, and we know them and we see them every week. And it's been a great addition.
Thank you so much. Lacey, did you want to jump in?
I agree with what everyone is saying, so I won't mirror that. I will just say for me as well, one of the things that I think is a huge success is that when the farmers come and they turn in, sometimes it's $20 that they wouldn't have had, sometimes it's several $100s. So farming is incredibly just difficult work that I want people to continue to do, that we need people to continue to do. So it's good too that there is just kind of this free money that then goes into their pocket. So it's that win-win of, yes, everyone's getting the nutritional food and it's, locally grown and all that. But for me too, to see that our farmers who toil in the fields all week, they're getting a benefit from that as well. And that's feeding their families. So there's a lot of really good and a lot of different aspects of what the program can do for your outlet.
Great. Thank you for highlighting that. On the flip side of that, I'd love to hear what maybe the most challenging thing has been about offering SNAP at your outlet or being a Fresh Access Bucks partner. Does anyone feel ready to go with that?
I could go with that, no problem. Again, being very new, it's definitely something, technology and Wi-Fi and all those things definitely come into play when you're at a market, and sometimes you just don't get the Wi-Fi and things become very challenging at that point. So the total pay and the square, the way we do it is we do our square on one iPad and get our numbers, put the order in. Then we go to another iPad and do our total pay. So that has worked out for us, but there was a little blip there where you would do everything on your square, you'd charge it, you'd record the payment, and then you would take the total pay, do that, and then guess what? It declined. So what happened then is, we're like, oh boy, what do we do now? We'd have to then, it just messes so much paperwork up when it comes down to it, because then you have to cancel it on the other one and just go through, the protocol there and just get that done. But we have decided, we figured out something it's very simple, and it just sounds like it's so trivial, but it actually really helped us. So on the square, what we do is we just charge everything, don't record it, put it through total pay. If it declines, then we can just clear all the items off. And that took a couple months to figure out, even though it's very simple, but that was a challenge for us. Another thing that was a challenge, or is a challenge, is we are in the North Greenwood area in Clearwater, which is a very, it's a huge food desert, and a lot of different mobile trucks and food trucks give a lot of food away. They have so many, Feeding Tampa Bay, all that stuff, they give a lot of food away. So when we go to sometimes these places and do our SNAP benefits with them, some of them are like, is it free? No, it's not free today, but it's at a really great price and it benefits you. And they're like, no, we're okay, thanks. So they'll wait for something to come along that will be given free instead of actually using their SNAP benefits. And that's just something we're working out. But on the flip side, with the successes, we do give, again, we're a nonprofit and we have a partnership with Feeding Tampa Bay. And at the end of the week, we're able to give out a little bit of fruit and vegetables, whatever we have left over, to the North Greenwood area. And now they are coming in droves because we're giving it out free. So it's just, you know what, it's one of those challenges that you just have to work through.
Great, thank you. How about from Christine or Lacey? Any challenges you'd like to highlight?
Sure. I guess one of ours is always about it's getting the word out and making sure that people are aware that even though we are in the middle, our green market is in the middle of downtown Delray Beach, and Delray Beach on a whole is a pretty affluent community towards the east and beachside and the main downtown side. And so our traditional shoppers have not been recipients of SNAP, and we've been in the area for so long without these, you know, benefits being at the market. So that's one of the things that we continue to struggle with is, you know, finding new avenues to reach new people, finding new community partners to see if they can reach, you know, their contact lists and the groups that they work with. We have partnered in the past with the American Heart Association, and we've reached out to the local YMCA offices. We have dropped things off at local elementary schools to stick flyers in kids' backpacks to make sure that, you know, people who live here, go to school here, and work in the area, they're aware that, you know, this is being offered every Saturday, mostly year round. And you know, it's available to anybody, but we are trying to target those that live and work in the area. So if anybody else has any other ideas about marketing or getting the word out, always happy to hear what other outlets are doing to try to make sure that everybody who can benefit from this program is able to. All ears.
Absolutely. Okay. Lacey, I'm going to ask you to start us out on our next question. If you can maybe tell us a story or a situation or just something that happened that reminded you why you offer SNAP and Fresh Access Bucks at your outlet.
So what's going to end up happening if you do run the program at your outlet is you are going to get regulars. There's going to be repeat customers. You're going to get to start to know these people. And I think one of the most like heart-wrenching and warming things that I ever had happen is there was a woman who was bringing her kids every week, and you'd get to know the kids and like, hey, what are you shopping for? And you may not even know anybody's name, but you like connect with these people because they're part of your life now. And the season had ended, and the mom came up to me and brought me a gift and was like, started crying that she just was so grateful that she never felt unwelcome. She never felt ashamed coming to the outlet and exchanging her tokens. And to me, I was like, oh, well, where would you go that people would make you feel like unwelcome? Does that happen? And yeah, it happens a lot. So to know that like, A, you're doing this really great thing for a family, B, you have this family that's now part of your existence. Again, you don't even know their names, you just see them every week, and it's like, hey, little dude, hey, buddy, hey, how's it going? Like, it's just a really uniquely special thing. And then to know that like you made a difference in somebody's life, that they were happy, they felt welcomed, and you're just kind of running the card and doing the thing. And you know, so it's, it can be a lot deeper than just transactional. And it's really, you're doing good things, you're meeting good people, just everything about it is always, except for the technical blips, everything about it is pretty excellent. So.
Great. Either Christine or Maisie and Debbie, either of you have any stories or reminders of why you started offering SNAP and FAB in the first place, or why you do what you do every day?
So we have one regular who is going through some health challenges, and she was trying to figure out a way to get more, fresh fruits and vegetables into her diet as she's going through some medical treatments. And she is always reminding us how much of a benefit this is serving her directly, because with her limited SNAP benefits, she would never be able to get as much produce into her diet to help her recover. So it's just those feel good things that that you're impacting them in so many different ways. And for somebody to take the time to just let us know, that's, it's awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. We have just a few minutes left for our panel, so I'd like to end it with just one final question of what is one piece of advice that you would give someone who is just starting out with the process of maybe getting SNAP authorized or applying to be a Fresh Access Bucks partner?
I've got some.
I'll answer this. Sorry. I would say definitely reach out to Delia or Heather, or we work with Jordan really closely. They're always so responsive and quick to help, and just such a great resource. So if there's any questions, definitely reach out to them. I know Jordan says that, when our markets are Saturday morning, we have a question about the technology or any other information that we're not ready to find online, or we just don't know off the top of our heads, they're still there to help. Like, we don't want to take advantage of that, because it is still your weekends too. But you guys have been wonderful to work with, and we really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, I was just going to piggyback off of that. I was going to say a similar thing, that they're definitely there to help. Heather is always great and there to answer any of our questions. It's been quite a challenge with all the technology and stuff, kind of figuring out, because we've got a little bit of a unique situation where we're selling our produce, but also the supplemented stuff from Feeding Tampa Bay. So just kind of figuring out a good system. Heather's been great with that, but also I wanted to say that I think it's important to get to know the other FAB partners, as well as just other people doing the work in the food system, whether it's farmers. I'm a farmer, so getting to know other farmers has been great for me. And I think, we could all benefit from just hearing each other's stories. And I think it makes it more efficient to share that information, because then we're not repeating the same mistakes over and over again, and we're getting the work done a lot better when we're doing it together. So
another thing I was going to say too is that I know, since we are new, that there is Heather puts on something, I don't know, it's every 2 months for new partners, and it's just all the little logistics of things. We all talk about it. I think the last one, or our first one that we did, it was just, I don't know, 3 or 4 people, but it was kind of nice to network with other people that are going through the same, challenges with whatever we need, just to get questions.
And Lacey, y'all have been in the program for a long time. Any pieces of advice that you can think of?
Just do it. Just do it. Here we are, and we're sitting, we're spending a whole day on and you have to buy it, and here's the order of ops and all these things, and it seems really overwhelming, and it seems incredibly complicated, and then there's tokens, and there's all of it will eventually become just such muscle memory of how to do all of this. For me, the amount of time that I spend on it now is so minimal for what that return is. I mean, I maybe spend 2 hours a week tops on things, and that's getting, you know, recipes for the educational requirement. Like, it really is not, and I'm fortunate that this is my full-time job. I understand that other people are trying to do different things in that as well. But once you get past like buying the equipment and the startup and learning how to do this, like, it eventually is truly just pure reward. It doesn't feel like work. It is so minimal. You guys are also great because you do answer the questions. And even when I make huge mistakes, you're just like, it's okay. It's okay. You know, so it's like, it's, just do it. Just do it. Do the startup work, do the counting each week. Like, I promise you, it is worth every bit of heartburn, every manual voucher that you're going to have to do. Like, it is worth it. Do it, do it, do it. That's all I can say about that. So.
I just wanted to say one more thing, Lacey, that you said that the program is just not transactional, and that it really is community. And I think that was just really, really profound. You did a nice job saying that, because it is true. It's like exciting for them, and we do the transactions, but it's all about the community and getting the people the food that they need, which is great.
Yeah, it's a privilege to take part in. So
I agree.
Thank you. I think that is the most beautiful point to end this panel on. So thank you for that. I want to thank all of our panelists for participating. We appreciate all of you and appreciate you being partners in our programs. So at this point, we're actually going to head into a quick break. So if everyone wants to be back at 11:20, we'll get going with our next presentation at that time. Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's 11:20, so we're going to go ahead and get started again. Our next speaker is Daniel Warren from Florida Department of Elder Affairs. Daniel Warren is currently the Nutrition Program Manager for the Florida Department of Elder Affairs. In his position for the department, Daniel is in charge of 2 USDA programs, including the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program and the Adult Daycare Food Program. Welcome, Daniel, to walk us through Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program and Women, Infants, and Children Farmers Market Nutrition Program overview today.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good morning so far. So today I'm going to help do a brief overview of the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program as well as the WIC Farmers Market Nutrition Program. So the first one we're going to go over is the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. So this is the one that myself here at Department of Elder Affairs, we oversee and are in charge of. So the first things first, the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program was a pilot program by the USDA funded in 2001. And then after 2001, they saw the need for growth, and they have now grown to almost every state in the United States, as well as a handful of Indian tribal organizations. The program is to serve seniors that meet 185% of the federal poverty guidelines, must be 60 years or older, and must live in an authorized county. So for the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program, each state agency has a way of setting up and submits a plan on how they are going to operate the program. In Florida, we have one of the longest seasons for the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. We operate over a 6-month period. So the way we break it down here at the department is we have 2 seasons. We have our coupon season, which this is like actual physical checks that participants will bring to the farmers market to be redeemed. And then we have our bundling season, which happens in the fall. And bundles are, if you think about them, they're actual like bundled boxes of produce. Each eligible senior, regardless of spring or fall, whichever one they attend, they're only allowed a max benefit of up to $40. With this program, because Department of Elder Affairs, we aren't a regulatory agency. We're actually one of the smallest state agencies. We have a partnership with the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, who runs the WIC Farmers Market Nutrition Program, who provides all the training, onboarding, and recruitment of farmers. With DOEA, our main job is we work with 17 local agencies to help qualify participants and ensure that participants are receiving the correct amount of produce. There's no double dipping and a lot of other administrative functions. And here is a map of all the counties we're in. Just due to funding, the program itself right now, if I looked at the last funding numbers for the entire country, is only funded at around $19 million. Here for the Department of Elder Affairs, we have a little over $250,000 to spread throughout the state. So we're not in every state, but we're hopeful that as we keep growing and as we keep showing to the USDA that we're spending more money, that we can eventually branch out to other counties. And that is just a brief overview of the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. And I think next we'll dive into the WIC Farmers Market. So the WIC Farmers Market Nutrition Program, so this is not one that I run. I'm actually speaking on behalf of Angie Zabala, who is the WIC Farmers Market Nutrition Program coordinator over at FDAC. She's out sick today. I'm speaking to her this morning. She had a little getting over a cold, so that's why I'm here to step in to help explain this program. So this program is similar to the Farmers Market Nutrition Program, except this is for WIC participants. This program was established by Congress to help provide fresh, unprepared, locally grown fruits and vegetables to WIC participants. It is a line item authority inside the same authority that gives WIC its authorization, and each year it's up for negotiation. So the overview of this program, so since we both operate at the same time and we utilize the same farmers, We both have the same season, except the only difference is the WIC Farmers Market Nutrition Program cannot do bundles. So only bundling can be done on the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. So for WIC, they just do coupons. The difference with the coupons, though, is WIC's coupons are worth $6. Our coupons are worth $4. And our participants can have a max of $40 for Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program, while WIC has a max of $30 per household. So this is just a brief overview of sort of how the flow goes. So in the state of Florida, the 2 farmers market nutrition programs will branch out to the WIC FMNP run by FDEC, Senior Farmers Market run by Department of Elder Affairs. And then the WIC FMNP works with the actual DOH local WIC agencies to help qualify and sign up participants, while we at the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program utilize senior centers and other community centers to help sign up participants. So because FDEX handles the authorization and recruitment of all farmers, the next thing we're going to go into is farmer eligibility, because if you're eligible through FDEX, you're eligible for both the WIC FMNP and Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. So the first 2 things you have to be is a verifiable grower and then complete certification requirements. And we'll go over what the certification requirements are in a second. So in order to prove that you're a certifiable grower, you just have to meet one of these 4 items: either a grower certificate from your local IFAS office, a notarized deed or lease agreement, cost of invoices or an expense report, and proof of produce seeds delivered or purchased. If you have one of those, that'll meet the certification requirement. And part of the certification process is you'll have to complete a training that is conducted by the Department of Agriculture, provide those verification documents like we talked in the previous slide, sign the grower's agreement, and then you will receive a stamp and program signs before you can start redeeming checks. And this is just a quick flow chart of how everything works. So FDEX and DOEA will issue coupons to the local agencies. The local WIC agencies or senior centers will distribute to participants. WIC families and seniors will then go to farmers markets to shop for produce. The farmers markets, the authorized farmers will be able to redeem the coupons. And then once the farmers redeem the coupons, they will take those coupons to their local financial institution for deposit. And here is contact information. So Angie Zabala is the program coordinator for the Department of Agriculture. Kayla Beavers is the assistant farmers market nutrition program coordinator for the Department of Agriculture. And then Dennis Rodkey was here about a couple weeks ago. He was the actual senior farmers market nutrition program coordinator, but he is no longer with the department. We actually have somebody starting next Tuesday to take over that position. So are there any questions for me about that, about each program?
And while folks are thinking on their questions, we do have one to start us off in the chat. Sarah asks, how can we support the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program? They have a very large senior population in Winter Park / Orange County and would like to provide this for our senior residents who need it, but they already have SNAP and Fresh Access bucks, so they're not sure if there's a need there.
So when it comes to growth for the program, we're limited to the counties currently that we have and based upon what their needs are currently. So our hope is we can grow and expand to other counties, but we have a very limited amount. So that $250,000 that I mentioned is enough to feed just 7,000 seniors through the whole state. So we try to be as equitable as possible. In the counties that have currently been on the program, we serve them first, and anything left over, we are trying to redistribute to counties that we know aren't on the program so we can help grow it.
And is there anything that farmers or farmers markets or folks like Fresh Access Bucks can do to like support y'all getting more money and getting more counties?
So a lot of it comes from the funding from the USDA. So for both programs, my program for Senior Farmers Market, we're part of the Farm Bill. The past couple years, they've cut the funding down. So it's one of the things where every state agency is seeing a decrease in amount of funding. We always request enough to feed I think every past 4 or 5 years, I think we've been doing about like 11, requesting funding for 11,000, and they're giving us way less than that. It's one of the things, the best thing to do is it's up in Washington because there's not a whole lot that we can do to ask for more money that the Sierra office can't provide because they're only limited to what the national government actually gives them. As it comes to WIC, from the WIC, they are a line item inside the larger bill for WIC. So being able to get extra funding, I'm not sure how that one works because it's not, since it's a very small line item, it's not one of those things that usually I have that much expertise on. So I don't know really how to help that one out.
I have another question unless somebody else has a question. We have a lot of farmers market folks on here, so I'm wondering what's the best way for like a farmers market manager to get the word to their farmers about the program? Because I know it's individual farmers who get authorized and not the market itself.
Yeah, so basically all you got to do is contact Angie Zabala. She's holding training sessions online, so they're very quick and easy training sessions. They take about 30 minutes to go through all the documents and all the training slides. So it's a really quick and easy process. The hardest process really is just getting the signed growers agreements done and getting the stamps submitted out. So if you have anybody that is in eligible counties, they should be able to contact Angie. The number one thing too, I think I sent Heather some links. We do have the map of eligible counties for both programs. The current one that we have, it's located on the Department of Agriculture's webpage to where you can see which counties are on there currently. And as well as with ours, we update our website with contact information for all the local agencies.
Great, thank you. And I see we have a raised hand. Erica, did you want to take yourself off mute?
Hi. Yes,
Hello.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for providing this wealth of information. But I do have a question as far as technical assistance goes from excuse me. Sorry, the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Besides that 130-minute training, what type of technical assistance do you provide for producers who are participating in the program?
So they do conduct farm visits. So they're required to go out and review farmers to make sure everything is a-okay. We're also, both Angie and I, you can always call us and we're able to help you through any questions that you have as they pop up. But yeah, we do come out and visit from periodically time to time just to see how everything's going, to help provide technical assistance if we see things aren't looking correct, and as a way to help keep the partnership going. Because our main goal is to make sure you guys are set up perfectly, and any way that we can help you along the way, we're always one call, one email, and periodically we're able to visit from time to time to help out as well.
And one follow-up question, if I may. Currently, do you know how many farmers and producers you have on the program?
So currently, Angie's going through the training process right now because each year we have to re-up and retrain farmers. The last count I got was early March. That was about a couple weeks ago. That was about, I think, 85, 86. But she's still conducting training courses as we speak. I believe there's another one next week, as well as there's a handful of virtual ones.
So, okay, I'm sorry, but I just have another question. So you have to re-up as a producer or farmer, you have to recertify every year and go through the process?
Yes, ma'am, every year.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you so much for those wonderful questions. There's one more in the chat. Connie would like to know if there was a reason why the Elder program stopped allowing plants and seeds that grow food to be purchased. Was that a federal change?
That's a federal rule that they set what we're allowed to purchase for the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. We're basically the same thing as the WIC FMNP. So whatever WIC allows, ours is what is allowed as well. The only extra that the senior farmers market can do is where seniors are allowed to buy honey at markets. But that was something that comes down from the federal government, so it's nothing that we can change or control.
Thank you. Well, I think we have answered all of the questions, so we'll go ahead and move on to our next presenter. Hopefully Lana is ready a few minutes early. So perfect. Thank you for being flexible with that. So up next we have Lana Shahabuddin. Hopefully I said that right. With Florida Organic Growers. Lana is currently the Assistant Programs Manager at Florida Organic Growers, where she hosts the Fresh Take podcast and coordinates the USDA-backed Florida Local Food Project. Lana has a background in nutrition and holds a master's degree in food systems and society from Oregon Health and Science University, where she completed her thesis on empathy and its relationship with the U.S. food system. That sounds really interesting. Lana also runs a small business where she helps other businesses and individuals start or continue their business ventures through effective communication and design methods. Welcome, Lana.
So much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lana Shahabuddin, and I am the Assistant Programs Manager at Florida Organic Growers and the host of our podcast called Fresh Take. Thank you for joining us today to learn more about this super exciting statewide initiative called the Florida Local Food Project, which is aimed at creating stronger connections and community around local food. When it comes to the food system, we know that many of the key players along the supply chain are interconnected, from farmer to retailer to consumer. So there's a lot that takes place behind the scenes before food actually arrives on our plates. And provided that we have a growing number of Florida food businesses and farms, we are focusing on building really strong relationships between these key players and making fresh local product more accessible and available. So this statewide project is funded by the USDA, and it began early last year and is funded until September 2025. And before I dive deeper into the actual project, I'd like to introduce who we are at Florida Organic Growers and what we do. So Florida Organic Growers is also referred to as FOG, and we were started by farmers for farmers back in 1987. And this kind of started as a grassroots movement by the folks that are doing the work on the ground themselves. And we're looking for more sustainable ways of continuing growing production methods. So today we serve many other food figures along the supply chain, including farmers market managers. And we operate two programs mainly. One side of FOG is QCS, which stands for Quality Certification Services, and the other side is the FOG Education and Outreach team. I've included some fun facts about each of these entities within FOG, but just to give you a brief overview, QCS is our certifying agricultural agency that actually goes out to the farms and certifies them as USDA organic, regenerative, and so on. And our E&O team really handles a lot of the USDA grants that are meant to educate folks in the industry along with consumers and provide key resources. So FOG helped start actually many impactful initiatives such as some that were mentioned earlier, the Fresh Access Bucks, and also the Florida Farmers Market Association. Now, the Florida Local Food Project, as I mentioned before, is aimed at building statewide relationships and mainly to address local food access and local food availability and increase those throughout the state. According to the 2017 USDA Ag Consensus, there are now 47,000 farms, I'm sure it's more than that, in Florida, and that gives us a very large opportunity as a state to drive more locally grown food into our restaurants, our schools, hospitals, and so on. We are focusing largely on the farm, restaurant, and food business sectors in this project. And since local food systems are place specific, we hope to merge the efforts across production, distribution, and consumption of foods with a community network. And also, although the grant takes place until September 2025, we are driving forward a sustainable vision of creating, and what we just launched is called the Florida Local Food Network. This is our online branch of the project where long-term connections can be formed and made stronger. And I'll dive a little bit deeper in the next few slides for that. We do have an advisory committee on this project. And so 4 lovely advisory committee members are shown here. The University of Florida is represented, the Florida Food Policy Council, and Feeding Florida. Not pictured here is also our key partner on the project, which is the Florida Farmers Market Association. And my colleague Connie Maxwell will present on that next. But the FFMA, or the Florida Farmers Market Association, provides tools for farmers market managers and entrepreneurs selling food items. And, she'll go into the depths of that. But once starting this new initiative last year, we quickly realized the power in collaboration. And so we are also actively accepting new partnerships to kind of expand on that capacity building efforts. So if you are an organization who aligns with this project and the goals, please feel free to let us know in the chat or through our contact info provided at the end. So you may be wondering, what is in it for me, to be a member of the Florida Local Food Project or even a partner on this project? And to be frank, there's really an endless amount of benefits, but these are some of the ones that I wanted to really highlight. First and foremost, you will get visibility and exposure to your farmer's market, or food business for no cost. You can access a wide range of tools, exclusive events, even being able to promote your own events that are happening on your farms, markets, restaurants, etc., and key local food resources. The biggest thing that we're also trying to emphasize with this network is the option of making requests and/or offers in our platform. So that is something, for instance, if you're looking for a mango grower in South Florida, or wanting to share something more widely, such as a plot of land available for new farmers, those are things that you can share as a member or ask for throughout this platform. You will get extra exposure if you are a partner, since your logo will be in our website, event materials, network feed, social media channels. And we do expect as a partner for you to also actively be participating in our network and in-person events, which will happen all across the state. You also have the opportunity of hosting events that we're putting together for the Florida Local Food Project, and showcasing your business and your products, and even sponsoring the food at these events as well, and highlighting the items that you are growing. We do our best to work with our partners to highlight your business as much as possible, especially to this community that really truly cares about local food. So some of the questions that you also might be asking yourself include, how are you defining local food? Where are these definitions coming from? How can I be eligible for this? Some ways to get involved, and when and where these events will be taking place. Well, I got you covered. So our definitions for local food are sourced from the USDA. And although this local food term is often contested and can mean, different things to different people, we move forward with a USDA definition of local food as food grown within the state or within 50 miles of the border. The folks we are targeting, also known as key local food actors, are those who are highly influential in terms of producing, promoting, providing, or selling local foods. So this is mainly farmers market managers, restaurateurs, and entrepreneurs. But we are actively incorporating other entities that are maybe a little bit outside of those things, such as nonprofits, government sectors, and educational institutions. So to be eligible, it's really quite simple. You have to just be based in Florida or along the Florida-Georgia border. You need to be someone who's actively promoting, growing, or selling locally grown food, and actively, in operation or just starting out. And then also, as I mentioned, some of the indirect kind of key sectors would be those nonprofits, food policy councils, universities, and more. So this video, and I'm hoping this will show, this is a quick couple-minute video of what the Florida Local Food Network looks like. As I mentioned earlier, this is the sustainable online arm of the project where people can come and connect. We have chosen a platform that is open source, meaning it is completely free to the public. It was designed with food actors and farmers in mind by a group out of San Francisco. And this is a quick overview of what the network is and the features that it has to offer. But please keep in mind, this video was recorded earlier this year. So there's a few things that you might not see in here. But I hope this will inspire you to join, and then I'll wrap it up with some of the events that we are planning. So in this network, you can see the homepage is kind of like a social media type of page with our purpose, our description. You can create several different types of posts. As I mentioned, we're really trying to highlight the request and offer posts so that we can move local food across the state more efficiently. We also have on the stream page, you can view all sorts of posts. You can change the view and the format so that it's more appropriate for your own viewing. And you can see kind of a few things that are in there. And on the Explore page, we have just a general overview of what the network serves, some key announcements, recently active members, including some of the groups and upcoming events that are within this project. There are more subgroups now, and there's also projects in here that you can join and be a part of. In our events tab, you can see kind of the upcoming events and RSVP to any of those things. And you can also view past events. I actually included the C2 Summit event in the network as well. So there's many things that you can, be informed of. There's a member directory where you can search for people by name, by skill, by location. For instance, if you're looking for a tropical fruit grower, you type that into the database, you'll find, people popping up based on what they put in their profile. So there's a really great opportunity to find folks that way. And I mentioned there are a few more groups now within the network that are sub-interest groups and also more specific. And then the map kind of gives you an overview of folks across the state. You can click on specific areas and see who is all in that region. And be able to start a private chat with them as well if you prefer that. Our resources tab is also a really great place to find really key documents that might assist you with your work as well. So just going over that Florida Local Food Network, that is one of the biggest ways folks can contribute on a more consistent basis. And one last thing I want to mention of the network is that we also launched our networking lunch and learn calls, which will occur every last Monday of the month. So once you are in the network, you can RSVP to our next call, which is March 25th at 12 o'clock. So these are specifically for network members only to meet and start developing those business-to-business relationships and gain more information, especially if you have questions on the platform itself. So in the next few slides, I'll cover the events that are taking part of our deliverables that you might be able to participate in. And so besides the network, we're also holding virtual trainings, local food celebration days, on-farm events, and symposiums. For the virtual training—
A minute left here, Lana.
Okay, thank you, Katie. Just to quickly go over this, our virtual trainings, we have had a couple happen already. We are expecting to do one coming up in the spring or summer. Probably going to cover something along the lines of sustainable sourcing for restaurateurs, and possibly another one on food business management for entrepreneurs. Our on-farm events, we have one coming up on May 18th in the Tallahassee region, Allison Acres Farm. This is part of a larger spring tour that's being hosted by Millstone Farm. So this is going to be a really exciting event for you to take part in and kind of learn about the different farms in that area as well. Our last farm event just occurred in Miami at Regenerate Farm and Retreat, and we had 4 to 5 different small farms represented. So all of these events are very collaborative, and they're meant to really highlight some of the key local food actors in each area. Our food celebration days and our symposiums, just to quickly go over these, we don't have any scheduled just yet, but we have interested parties for both of them. They are going to look different depending on the key region. So that's something that will kind of, vary depending on who's hosting and what the needs and barriers are of those areas. And so how to get involved, this is a QR code if you would like to. Oh, sorry, the QR code is on the next slide. We have, the first step is to sign up using the QR code on the next slide, share everything on your profile. And then if you have any questions, you can schedule a meeting with myself. This is the QR code to sign up for the project. This will take you directly to the form. Once you sign up through there, you will receive an automated email with an invitation to the actual network. So then you can access the network, create your profile, and you can download the free Hilo app, which is the mobile app where you can also access the network and be able to use it on the go. One last plug-in is we have our upcoming Organic Food and Farming Summit on April 18th and 19th in Tampa. This will be comprised of farm tours, a conference style of day 2 with presentations and a trade show. There is a member discount if you become a member of the Florida Local Food Project, and there's a completely free track for those interested in transitioning into organic if you are a grower. So please reach out to me if you have more questions about that, and I will be sure to give you all the information and the discount codes.
Thank you so much, Lana. I've included some links in the chat as well as the slides QR code that was shared. So y'all will have those, and we can also share them out in our follow-ups from today's event. So thank you. Up next, I would like to go ahead and welcome Connie Maxwell from Florida Organic Growers. Connie is a retired chef who worked at Iowa State University in the fraternity system, cooking for 4 fraternities, 150 young men 3 times a day. Not something I would ever want to do. The importance of fresh, healthy food was never so apparent as it was when she was a chef. So now Connie, along with her fellow veteran husband, Douglas, grow vegetables on their 6-acre farm in North Florida for her family's consumption while providing vegetable and herb transplants to the community through online sales and local farmers markets. Connie serves on the local farmers market board of directors and helps homesteaders get their own food sources set up. Her role at Florida Organic Growers as coordinator for the online farmers market called the Backyard Market and assists with the administrative tasks of the Florida Farmers Market Association. And to speak about the Florida Farmers Market Association today for you, welcome Connie.
Thank you very much. I've been with FAB for 8 weeks now, and I've been involved with the Florida Farmers Market for 5 days. So we're going to see how this goes. So what is the Florida Farmers Market Association? It connects an array of farmer markets in our state to be a member-driven network and provides training and resources for vendors, market managers, and consumers. And I think that's the best explanation that you can have of what you do. So next slide, or what we do. Thank you. When you go to the Florida Farmers Market Association's website, there is a toolkit there, and the toolkit allows farmer market managers and farmers who are thinking about providing food through a farmer's market to look at the rules and regulations requiring farmers to meet and farmers market managers to look out for on food safety. There's also a lot of business management tools there to help with the entrepreneurial side of being a farmer, as well as resources for markets. The website is, because the rules and regulations change all the time, the website is often updated. There are food safety quizzes on the website and certificates for people. And being a retired chef, I thought, well, I know all about food safety. So I just really quickly took the test and didn't pass. So don't think that it's very easy. Next slide. Thank you. So I'm trying to get a video up here for you guys to watch.
I can play it from my.
Okay.
I have it ready for you.
All right, great. There we go. Okay, go ahead and hit it. Perfect. So what people need to do to get to our website, let me see if I can get this going here, is they need to actually go to foginfo.org, and it has all of our programs here and all of our ways that we help with the food system in Florida. You can come here and just click right on it, and it'll take you to the Farmers Market Toolkit website, which is really the Farmers Market Association. You can become a member here quite easily. You just click on this, fill out the form, submit it. But what I wanted to bring your attention to is this. This is the benefit of being on this site, is consumers, no matter where they are in the world, like everybody comes to Florida for vacation for some reason, they can click on here and they can find a market. So if you are listed with us on the Florida Farmers Market Association, you get a little pin on the market, on the map here. And this map is completely interactive. They can zoom in. They can pull down. And they can go, oh, look, there are 5 different markets in the Gainesville area. I wonder what this one is. And it'll come up, your logo, your address, and then the details. And so the Alachua County Farmers Market talks about the market. It gives their hours, gives their location specifically, and it gives what nutrition programs they participate in. And then if you send us pictures, we can load up those pictures and show people what your market's all about. So that's an access to the world from a Florida market, and I think that's pretty unique. If they want to go back, they go back to all markets, and the map comes back up and they can look. If they want to look at a town, let's say that they have friends in and they live in Fort Lauderdale, and they're like, well, let's see. Oh, and today is Thursday in Fort Lauderdale. What do we have? Well, we have this market, and they can go on the details for this market and shop. So, you know, it's a very unique tool that gets consumers to the markets. If they have, now this gets searched a lot in October. October is, oh, nobody on Thursday, let's go here. And nobody in Fort Lauderdale, let's go here. There we go. So, in October, when the WIC coupons for the farmer market program are going to expire, people with WIC coupons can go to this website and click on and find out where they can take their coupons and get them spent before they expire. So that's it. If you click on become a member, I can show you that. Fill out the details, answer a bunch of questions, check off what it is that's offered at your market. Let me move me all the way. And then submit the form and you're done. Pretty easy. And then you'll get an email from us telling us that you've been approved or not. So, if you have any questions, I'll meet you back in the presentation. There we go. So that's it in a nutshell of the Florida Farmer Market Association and the benefits and the tools that are available to you. So I also want to make a shameless plug, like Lana did, for our Organic Food and Farming Summit. It's happening in April. They've got some really interesting farm tours scheduled, some really big farms, some very organic, sustainably growing farms that are very unique in Florida. We have workshops, training, and the trade show, a couple of good keynote speakers, and of course, all the networking opportunities that you have down there. The tickets are on our website. And like Lana said, if you become a member of the Florida Local Food Project, there is a discount for you. So thank you very much for having me today. I was happy to fill in for Andy, who isn't with us anymore at FOG. You can call me at Connie, or you can email me at connie@foginfo.org, or get more information if you use the QR code on the left. That gets you to the map and sign up. And if you use the QR code on the right, that will get you to the website. And I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Connie. We are actually at overtime. So if anyone does have questions, please feel free to put those in the chat and we'll get those followed up for you. We're going to go ahead and move into our next presentation from Casey Hilliard from Feeding Florida, who is going to talk about making connections between Florida's farmers, markets, and consumers. Casey Hilliard directs the agriculture relations for Feeding Florida statewide. In her role, she manages the Farmers Feeding Florida program, that's so many F's, and helps connect Florida producers to the various state and federal funding opportunities available. She is currently partnering with the beef and dairy sectors of Florida's agriculture industry to introduce new commodities into Florida's food bank network and food system. And I'd like to go ahead and welcome Casey.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Grateful to be here with you this morning. I was able to spend some time with our procurement team, which is typically who I really focus on my work with. But we were able to spend some time this morning talking about the inclusion of Florida dairy and how to understand the nutritional benefits from that product. So I really feel like I got to spend time with my nutrition education side of Feeding Florida this morning, and now very grateful to be with the Fresh Access Bucks side of our entire organization. So I like to joke that I kind of am the middle woman in between these two programs and really work to just make connections and meaningful relationships. As you can see, our network is made up of 9 food banks. I know for many of you, this is probably not new information, but happy to just provide a refresh for a few minutes about our organization and specifically the Farmers Feeding Florida program. So we are the largest food bank network in the state. We have 9 member food banks. So we are the state association level of Feeding America. Most folks are usually pretty familiar with Feeding America as the national network, and then we serve as the state association level. We do have within our 9 member food banks, they service all 67 counties. So we have presence across the entire state. We're very grateful to have meaningful partnerships with agencies And I know when you see that 2,400 agency partners, what does that mean? This is nothing more than your local church pantry or a local nonprofit organization who has stepped up to provide food distributions in your local areas. So oftentimes you'll see multiple opportunities for folks to receive, nutritious produce along with protein, shelf stable items, really the whole spectrum of food, including bottled water. So many critical things that I've personally found when I've been at these different distributions. These are folks that are they're just going through a hard time. And we're able to come in and really help, as the FAB team would say, help extend the food dollar to where they can really make it through that week or that month. We're really proud of the fact that in 21, 22, that calendar year, more than 370 million pounds of food was distributed. What's really important to me and my team and our line of work is that 33 million of those pounds was produce grown here on Florida farms. So these are folks that are right there in your own community. We're always so proud of the fact that when we typically partner with a grower, we can offer their produce out to the whole network. But there is for certain farms that are growing food right in each of our communities, and it's being donated and resourced right back in to the local food system. One thing I do want you to really walk away from today with, now that you have kind of a refreshed understanding of Feeding Florida and what we do. I know we often say, we're a food bank network, and so we do food banking. As y'all know already, we do so much more than just that. These 9 member food banks really strive to not just distribute food, but to offer really incredible resources like job training, financial literacy, mental health counseling, anything that person needs. These 9 hubs, if you will, really serve as community centers to really help support people. And again, as y'all know, with Fresh Access Bucks, that really only advances the mission even more. Go ahead. So the Farmers Feeding Florida program, over the last now been 8 years, we've been able to resource a total of 246 million pounds from Florida farms. We've been able to go out to a lot of these farms, put our eyes and ears and hands on these products, and really see what's being grown for our network. Typically, what we're going to see is what's called number 2 in the produce world. So this is, product that was grown, but it doesn't fit the market that it's, being grown for. So like with cucumbers, pickling cucumbers that are too big or too long, they're not going to send those to a retailer. And so that's where we have an opportunity to come in and buy them at cost. When farmers go through a natural disaster and maybe a product comes out and it's not pretty enough to be sitting on a retail shelf, that's when we have an opportunity to come in and recover that food as well. So as mentioned, we really are working to extend into protein and dairy. We're so grateful. Last year during the legislative session, we added into our program of work to start recovering protein and dairy. But to be honest with you, we really didn't know where to start. So when I came on board about 10 months ago now, I inherited, this idea that we needed to extend into these sectors of industry. As my good friend, Ms. Nobles, who's on the call today and saw my work as an ag teacher, very passionate about Florida beef producers and dairymen. I'm very happy to share that we have successfully opened these doors. We're figuring out our way to establishing recovery within both of these sectors. We're working with our Florida Commissioner of Agriculture, Wilton Simpson, to recover protein like eggs, because he is an egg farmer himself. So it's an uphill challenge, but we're having a lot of fun really educating these sectors of industry about what our network does. And I like to say we're now food banks with funding, right? We're not coming to the table asking for a donation. When we partner with farmers, we really are offsetting their financial situation in some way, shape, or form, typically at cost or discount. One program I did want to make mention for that I felt like would be super helpful for this audience is our local food purchase assistance program. This was a USDA program that came down at the state level, so through Department of Agriculture. This allows producers who identify as socially disadvantaged, even if you don't identify as that, you can still partner with our food banks in this program. They just have to spend a certain amount of their funding on those who are. And we really allow the food banks to, they each own their contract. So they're working with producers directly. If you're at all interested in this program, there is my email address. Obviously, you can work through the FAB team to get a hold of me as well. But that's going to be the easiest way to let me know that you either have a farmer in mind or you are a farmer and you have product available that you would like to sell in order to support your local food bank. More than happy to get you involved with them. The biggest thing I will say, because I think this is my last slide, the biggest thing I wanted to share today is just how important the relationship is. If you're not familiar with one of these 9, your local food bank in your service area, I really encourage you to reach out to me and allow me to get you connected. They're an open door. They're always, willing to host you at the food bank, give you a tour, let you really learn about all the different things they're doing and how they're working to support Florida farmers as well. And I think that's all I have.
Great. Thank you so much, Casey. If anyone has any questions for Casey, you can pop them in the chat. We'll get those followed up for you. Up next, we have Dory Landsberg from Feeding Florida, who's going to talk about Florida nutrition education. Dory currently serves as Feeding Florida's Nutrition Education Regional Director for the Northwest region. She has worked with multiple nutrition and community programs over the last 25 years. Prior to working with Feeding Florida and the Florida Nutrition Education Program, she was the Nutrition Program Manager at the Florida Department of Elder Affairs, where she oversaw the Adult Care Food Program and the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. Welcome, Dory.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here today to talk about the Florida Nutrition Education Program and explain what it is and what we do and how we can help you all. I'll start out with just kind of what the Florida Nutrition Education Program is, defining it. There's my contact information on the first slide. So what is Florida Nutrition Education? It's an education program that's funded through SNAP-Ed, which is a federally funded program that's evidence-based and helps people make their SNAP dollars stretch. It also teaches them how to cook healthy meals and how to lead physically active lifestyles. The goal of Florida Nutrition Education is to implement nutrition education for eligible individuals that will promote healthy food choices and physical activity consistent with the most recent dietary guidelines for Americans. This program can reach people through direct education or policy, system, and environmental change, which I'll explain in the next couple of slides what those things are. So what is a PSE? It's 3 things: policy, system interventions, and environmental interventions. And the purpose of a PSE is to implement changes throughout communities that can improve the community's health, and that's by addressing socioeconomic factors and making healthy choices more accessible. So making healthy choices the easy choice for people in the community. And they're meant to be, the PSEs are meant to be sustainable in a community. So once they're started, we would like to see them continue. So we try and work with community partners and organizations that can oversee these projects even after the Florida Nutrition Education teams have left the area. So we'll go on to direct education now. So direct education aligns with the dietary guidelines for Americans and also the My Plate, which is a USDA program. The classes are offered in person or virtually. We like to meet people where they are. We have a ton of classes throughout the state that are in person. If people can't make those, we also have a website with online education classes there. The curriculum that we use is all USDA approved and evidence-based, and the topics that are covered include information about healthy eating, food safety, staying active, and stretching food dollars. So we really try and give a lot of information out to people, to participants. When they attend a direct education class, there's a lot of interaction with the audience. In those in-person classes, they'll do cooking demos usually and taste tests for participants. So it's a really cool way for people to interact with a nutrition educator in person and get some valuable information and tools to take out into the field with them or into the grocery store with them. We do have a website. The website, I just realized the address of the website is wrong on this slide, so we'll make sure to get that corrected before it's sent out to you all. And I will also make sure that the correct website is in the chat. It's floridanutritioned.org, not education. But on the website, you can find lots of great information. We have a calendar of classes available. We have recipes that we update regularly and tips and tricks that we update regularly. These are just some screenshots from the website. You can see there's a calendar of classes that are available, and you can search that calendar by county or city. So you can find out if there are any classes available in your area or your participants can. And then also we have some information about recipes on there. So that's kind of what our website looks like. The next slide has pictures of actual programs being implemented in the community. We have a mobile market. So our subcontractors use the mobile markets, which are the food banks, to go out into the community and reach participants that they might not normally be able to reach. Sometimes they do direct education right out of the mobile market, and sometimes it's a PSE intervention. But we try and get out into the community as much as possible. The next picture is a Mothers Helping Mothers group that met with a nutrition educator. And they're doing a class in this photo with their kids, which is really cool. So the moms are learning information about preparing healthy meals, and they're actually getting to taste those meals. And we had a success story come out of this class actually, where one of the mothers said that her daughter is requesting healthy meals and requesting the recipes that they're trying out in these classes, which is awesome. So that's one of those classes. And then the final picture is a food pantry that one of our food banks set up at a local health department. So participants are able to go in there and shop kind of like they would at a grocery store. And you can see their posters on the wall encouraging people to make healthy choices at that food pantry. So next slide. Okay, so how can Florida Nutrition Education help you? So Feeding Florida is one of the implementing agencies of the SNAP-Ed or Florida Nutrition Education Program. It's actually administered by the Department of Children and Families in the state of Florida. They subcontract with us, and then we in turn subcontract with our 9 area food banks to provide the actual education. So each food bank has a nutrition education staff where they have trained and background screen nutrition educators that can work with partnering organizations to decide on the best ways to educate their community. We serve all 67 counties in the state of Florida for adults and seniors, and we serve youth in 30 counties throughout the state. So Florida Nutrition Education can provide materials and or classes to meet federally funded nutrition program requirements. So for example, we can partner, FAB partners, for example, have 6 nutrition education activities per year that they're required to do. We could partner with your organization to help you meet those requirements. We also could work with programs like the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program to provide nutrition education, which is one of the requirements of their program. We have some food banks that are working with like congregate meal sites, because congregate meal sites are required to do a monthly nutrition education project with their participants. So we have a food bank that goes in and does that nutrition education, and it's been very, very well received with the participants. So if you have any questions about Florida nutrition education, or want to get in contact with a food bank that could assist you on the local level, you can email me at dory@feedingflorida.org, or on the next slide, there's a QR code. You can scan that QR code, fill out a form on the there that will be sent to one of our people, and we can reach out to you directly to connect you with a nutrition educator in your area. One thing I wanted to mention also, on our website, we do have a map that's interactive, and you can click in your area and it will give you direct contact for the person that's responsible for serving your area. But again, you can always reach out to me. So that's all I have. You have any questions?
Thank you so much, Dory.
Sure.
I don't see any questions in the chat.
Okay.
We've included Dory's email address there in the chat, so if you'd like to get in contact directly, and we'll also send out resources following this event today. Thanks again to all of our presenters. Appreciate all of you for giving such excellent information. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Heather to close us out for the day.
Thanks, Delia. And like Delia said, thanks to all of our presenters, and thanks to all of you who attended. I hope that you will take something away from this that you can bring to your community. We would love if you could take 2 minutes tops to fill out a really quick survey about your experience today. This might be something we offer in the future, and we would love your feedback so that we just make it even better. I think it's going in the chat, or has already gone in the chat. So take a couple minutes and let us know what you thought about today. And I will say that this has been recorded. I think you were all notified right off the bat when you got in that this has been recorded. So we are going to send out a recording. If you came late, you'll be able to see any of the sessions that you missed. We'll also be sending out the presentation with all the slides, as well as any resources that were mentioned. So there will be a follow-up email. It'll probably go out tomorrow with all of that information. And the contact information for everyone who spoke. If you have any follow-ups, we're always here to answer questions and to be here as a resource. We didn't have a ton of time to answer questions at the end of everyone's presentations. So we have some time now. I'd love to hear any questions folks might have. And this is the contact for Delia and I for any and all follow-up regarding CC success. So any questions in the chat, or take yourself off mute. All right. If there aren't any questions, and I think we did a good job of fielding them in the chat as they came. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Enjoy this beautiful weather while we still have it. And feel free to reach out to us or any of the presenters with follow-ups to get you on your journey to offering any of the programs that we talked about, or joining any of the different associations and such that we went over.
Awesome. Andre here, just chiming in. Thank you so much. I think it's Delia and
Yes.
Heather and Lana and everyone who contributed and shared. And It was educational. I appreciate it, truly. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thanks to all of you for attending. You all are what make these events successful. So have a good day, everyone. Thank you again.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Delia, the manatee are back in the canal, so that is what I'm going to be doing when we get off
I
this.
saw your photo or your little videos and photos that you've been sharing. I
They were-
was very
They were
excited.
definitely meeting yesterday. They were very active. There was like 4 of them. All right. Everyone have a great rest of your day.